Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Reed here. Welcome back to another toy review by yours truly. So today we have yet another Beyblade review, if you haven't read the title already. And today's is a double pack. Today we're taking a look at Beyblade Burst Surge, a Glide Dullahan D6, and Minoboros M6. So this is another dual pack, and this time it is both Surge based. It's not like Surge or Hypersphere or anything like that. Or Surge and Slingshot, nothing like that. This is just strictly Surge stuff here. So, right at the top here, we do have the Beyblade Burst Surge logo with the SpeedStorm subtitle right there. And then we have our two bays right there, Glide Dullahan on the right, while on the left we have Minoboros M6. And spinning the box around to the back. Spinning the box around to the back, we have Glide Dullahan D6 with the Storm Chip ring, the Forge Disc, which also happens to be ring, the name of it anyway, that's a very old part. And then we have the driver right there, which may be familiar from Glide Rockdivore or Glide Ragnarok R6. So, there you go. And then we on the, what is this? On the right here, we have Minoboros M6 with the layer, the ring, and frame. Surprisingly, this came with a frame. And the driver, which may be familiar to those who have watched the review on Spear Dullahan. So, and then here at the bottom we have the stats, which again, don't bother reading these because they are rubbish. Oh, and also something else to mention on Glide Dullahan is that there is the heavy metal hit because this is a SpeedStorm metal driver. So moving that out of the way and recentering the camera, we will take a look at the bays going from right to left, starting with the layer, which is Minoboros M6, also known as just Mad Minoboros, or Minoboros M2. So, Mad Minoboros, this one's a very interesting piece, and here's why. If you haven't watched my initial review on Minoboros Quarter Quake that came, I believe, in a 3-pack during the release of Beyblade Burst Cho Z, this was one of the hardest pieces to acquire for a long time. And here's why. This piece originally came out under the Takara Tomy brand in a random layer booster, I believe, way back in the day. It was only available through that, and let me tell you, this piece was expensive. And even now, if you want to get that original version, yeah, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. and then of course with Cho Z, we had the reissue version, which is Minoboros Quarter Quake, where it finally gets its final combo, its final official combo. So that's kind of interesting. And then here in Hasbro, during the time of, I believe it was either Turbo or Evolution, we got to see it early on with Minoboros M2, Knuckle Jaggy. And this time we get it again, finally, in Surge with this nice purple recolor. So, there you go. That is your crash course in history of the Minoboros layer. Or at least Mad Minoboros, anyway. And in the actual comparison segment, we will take a look at the different layers there, so that way you can see all the different variants of this. And I really like the purple, the gray, the gold, well, not even gray, it's like a silver, gold on the head and on the nose ring, and the black. It looks really, really nice, and I believe this is actually a callback to Morigna's color scheme, which was very, very similar. And also I like the blue for the M there for Minoboros, Mad Minoboros. And on the back, we do have the QR code right there, so you can scan the bay into the game. And there you go. That is Mad Minoboros. All in all, very, very nice looking. And something else I forgot to mention is that later on in Turbo for Hasbro, we actually got a reissue of it as Thorns X Minoboros, which I should probably get that now because I forgot to get that for comparisons. So, be right back. Alright guys, now that I got the extra Minoboros I forgot to bring out for comparisons, we're gonna continue on with our look at Minoboros M6, also known as just Minoboros M6 or Minoboros M2. Yeah, lots of names there. We're going to take a look at the disc that we get, which is Ratchet. Ratchet originally came out for Hasbro under the Beyblade release Wizard Fafnir. And, yeah, same thoughts from that video apply here. I don't really care much for this disc because I got rid of the gimmick that made it really, really good. And that is the clear outer frame that would actually ratchet or spin around and somewhat act like Tornado Wyvern's gimmick, where it would deflect attacks from the disc. But since burst bays rarely ever make contact with the discs, that gimmick is kind of rendered pointless. But it does actually have a double gimmick, I guess, in that it can help with life after death. So, aka just the Beyblade spinning longer. So, there you go. That is Ratchet. Very, very nice disc, that is. And, of course, it's in that shiny new silver, which is going to dull out really, really quick with use. But anyway, next is the frame. And the frame is kind of interesting, as this is the Lift frame. And Lift initially came out on the Cho-Z release, Random Booster release, that being a Vice Leopard. That was such a weird bay. But anyway, in that version, it came out as a translucent black, but this time it's in a translucent sort of lemonade yellow. And it's really, really nice, as it does have a double gimmick to it, in that you can have it on the disc, on the Ratchet disc, which of course in Takara you could never do this. In the Takara release you could never do this. Only with Hasbro, because they just had to be weird and not have the gimmick, and decided to put on the slots for frames, which it's interesting. But anyway, you can put the frame on like this, which is normally the standard mode it comes in, which is the attack mode. But then you can also take it off and swap it around, and you can have it in the defense mode, where it's more down and with the parts in this lower protrusion kind of sticking out a bit. So, there we go. Actually, I have that backwards. I believe this is the attack mode, and the other mode is defense. So, my apologies. So, it's actually the other way around. But still, a very, very nice piece this is. And also, you can rotate it left as well for left spin bays. And it is quite tight too, so this frame ain't coming off too easy. I do like that. Some of the later Evolution releases actually did have some loose frames that would come off kind of easily. Not extremely easily, but still fairly easily. So, all in all, nice disc and frame there. And then lastly, we get, if I can recenter the camera, center it. There we go. We have the driver, which is Fusional SpeedStorm. This initially came out on, Spear Dullahan, and this time it's in gold instead of black. And same thoughts from Spear Dullahan's review still apply here, so there you go. And once you put the bay all together, this is your complete combo of Dullahan D6, or just not Dullahan, Minoboros M6, aka Minoboros M2, Minoboros, Ratchet, what is this? Ratchet Lift, Fusional, or just Fusion SpeedStorm. Yeah, I know, kind of a cluster of a name. But anyway, for comparisons, let's start off with the Japanese release that I have here, which is Mad Minoboros. If it'll stand upright, I guess I'll do. Mad Minoboros Quarter Quake. So there you go. The differences are pretty obvious in the color schemes and in the parts, but still, I'm glad to own both of these releases, as Mad Minoboros is quite an interesting dual layer release, and it was a late release as well for the dual layer system. So, can't complain. Plus, it's nice to see these old parts make a grand return with a new paint job with some nice tight slopes on them. So, and for our next comparison, we're going to bring in the Evolution Minoboros M2 Knuckle Jaggy release. And you can clearly see the differences with this as well. As you can see, this one's more or less trying to mimic the Japanese release of Mad Minoboros. So, there you go. And then for our last release up until this one, here is Thorns X Mad Minoboros. Or Minoboros M4, I believe it was called back then. So, there you go. And again, the colors are very, very different here. And out of these two recent Mad Minoboros releases, I kind of like the new one more, just because I like the reference to Morigna M4 and Thorns X. You can barely even see the thorns on it. They're just so gray and faded, and plus they mesh with the green so much you can't even see the thorns. The whole aesthetic of the release. So, but there you go. That is your Minoboros M6. All in all, very, very nice bay right there. But of course, we do have a secondary bay, and that is our main SpeedStorm release. At least, stock combo wise. And we're going to start off with the Storm chip, or chip, Super King chip. And that is Dullahan. And this is very, very nice, actually. Or also known as Dullahan 2, if you want to call it that. Really, really nice looking. I love this blue on silver on the red in the visor there, with this pink sort of core with the gold. It's very, very interesting looking. And in the comparisons, we will see the difference there with the Hasbro counterpart, the original counterpart, I should say, of this Hasbro exclusive evolutionary piece. But on the back, we do have the the QR code. Sorry, I was kind of peeling off of the back there. So you can scan that into your game. But all in all, very, very nice looking. So that is your Dullahan D6 right there, or just Dullahan. Next, we're going to take a look at the ring, which is Glide. And Glide is the exact same as the one that comes on Glide Rock Devore, or just Glide Ragnarok R6. And this time it's in gold and green and silver. The gimmick still applies, where you still have the wing gimmick, which again is absolutely pointless, but still. It's nice that it carries over from the Blaze Ragnarok line and the Crash Ragnarok evolutions. And also Cyclone has this as well in Dynamite Battle, or DB. So that's cool. And on the bottom it is hollowed out. You do have the pins there for the whole gimmick. But there you go. So once you put on your Glide and your Ragnarok, not your Ragnarok, but you put your Glide and Dullahan together, there you go. There you have your layer of Glide Dullahan. Actually, it's like this. There we go. Glide Dullahan. Very, very nice looking layer. Next, we're going to take a look at the ring, which is, or not ring, the forge disc, which is ring. This part is pretty old, as this initially came out in the burst system under the release of Unicorn Ring Defense. So, all in all, this disc is pretty outdated, but this actually has seen some use in competitive, I guess. Whereas it does have some decent weight, and it is rather small and hefty. And obviously the ring name comes from the fact that it's shaped like a ring, so there you go. It's nice to see this old part, but also, like, why? It's so, there you go. So you could see my initial thoughts on my collection review when I talk about Unicorn, the Hasbro release. No, actually the Hasbro release is Unicrest. It's different. Stupid naming schemes. Anyway, lastly we have the driver, which is Revolver, or just Revolve, SpeedStorm Metal. This time it's now in blue instead of gold, and we have the SpeedStorm Metal on it, which is really, really nice. It's nice to see a stock combo from Hasbro, at least for a 2-pack anyway, that actually has a good part in it, at least. I mean, it's not to say that this set is worthless or anything, as it does have some value. I mean, you get some more parts, you get some nice layer recolors, you get some nice stuff in here. But it's nice to get Revolve's SpeedStorm metal, as in testing, this driver is actually pretty good on Glide, especially when it's paired with Glide. So there you go. So once you put the bay all together, you will get your final combo of Glide. I almost called it Glide Ragnarok again. Glide Dullahan Ring. What is this? Revolver Speedstorm Metal. Very, very nice looking this is. And as you guys can tell, the naming schemes are just getting worse, not better. Well, at least in terms of the complication of it anyway. But now onwards to comparisons, and we got the whole Speedstorm cast over here to take a look at, so we're just going to do a quick speed round of all these. So we're going to start off first with our boy Glide Ragnarok, or Glide Rock Devore R6, which, funny enough, was actually my very first ever Hasbro Speedstorm product that I ever got. So differences should be obvious. I don't think I really need to elaborate on the differences. So, excuse me, I normally don't burp on camera. That's kind of disgusting. But anyway, moving that out of the way, let's grab out... where's Dullahan at? Where are you, buddy? I know you're hiding. Where are you? There we go. So yeah, I'm changing things up. If you guys can hear in the background, I actually have a little steel box. Not like steel, but like a little box to house all the bays. And as usual, I just kind of have them scattered across the desk, and I just pick them up one by one for comparisons and just put them on here. But now I'm thinking I might change it up and lessen the clutter a bit with the introduction of that little metal box you heard in the background that I was digging through. So all in all, comparisons are pretty straightforward. I don't think I really need to elaborate on these. Next, we're going to bring in Curse Satan, so we can have those two together, or Curse Satan if you want to call him by his Hasbro name. As, of course, Hasbro is great at naming things. I mean, just take a look at Evo Lucius Blaze. Evo Lucius Endbringer. I almost called him Blazebringer. No, that's Helios. Not even Helios, that's Hyperion. I'm an idiot. Yeah, see what I'm saying, guys? The Hasbro naming schemes are getting worse. Hasbro, get good at naming things. Because seriously, your naming game is getting worse now. I know I keep saying that, but my god. And these were... And as you noticed in this video so far, guys, I haven't had anything really negative to say in this review. And that's partially in part to the fact that this is a early Speedstorm release. And for comparison, this is Rage or Ray Luinor Longinus for comparison. So, there you go. Your Ray Luinor, Rage Longinus, whichever name you want to call it. So, and actually, whilst we're going through the comparisons here, I might as well let you guys in on a little scoop on something I found out this morning, as I'm pretty sure I can leak this now and not get in any legal trouble or anything, is that in the Beyblade Burst app, they actually revealed some more bays, and one actually caught my eye. It was Tempest Devilos, and what's weird about it is that it actually was molded in the bound mode, which is great. If that's actually going to become a real product, as it's probably going to be part of some big set or something. But still, to see that they're actually going to be, putting these re-releasing parts in their proper modes and gimmicks and stuff like that is really nice. Because I was if you couldn't tell on my Tempest Dragon review, which actually that carries over nicely to the comparison, which is Tempest Dragon, our next one here. I was very much disappointed with the fact that it was molded in its normal mode and not in its bound mode or its fully awakened form. So there you go. So comparisons, the differences should be obvious. I don't think I need to really elaborate on these, do I? For our next one, we're going to bring in Hyperion, Super Hyperion H6. So you have that there for comparison. And again, I still have it in the proper Takara Tomy accurate parts combo. And not in the actual set combo because, God, the set combo kind of sucks. But anyway, So there's that. So for our next comparison, we're going to bring in Brave Ragnarok, our first, or at least my first, SpeedStorm stock release. As that's something Hasbro's been doing since day one of the translation of the Burst products into the international releases, is that they've been, they've been doing these stock combo releases just as kind of filler there. And something I actually noticed is that, wait, hold up. Wait, are these the same driver? Oh, wait, no, they're not. Hold up. This is Survivor, isn't it? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I thought these were the same driver. I was like, wait, is that a slightly different tint? No, that's... Okay, I got confused there for a second, so ignore that. I kind of had a midlife crisis right there for a second. But anyway, and for our next comparison, here is Mirage Fafnir. So you can see those two together. And of course I have in the stock combo with 1A. I don't know why they couldn't have just done two stamina. I don't know why they could have just done that, but yeah, whatever. So there you have that right there. For our next comparison, we're going to bring in King Helios, or Colossal Helios, H6. And this time we have it with the Takara accurate combo, the Japanese version combo, and not the set combo. Because again, set combo is poo. So there you go. Next comparison, we're going to bring in Super Satan. I know, funny name. So, with Jerk and Zone. SpeedStorm. So, again, very, very clever naming scheme. I see what you're doing, Hasbro. But there you go. Very, very nice, comparison there. For the next comparison, we're going to bring in, let's see. I got to clean up the driver. Got a bunch of dirt on it. Vex Lucius, or Variant Lucifer. So that way you can see how these two look together. And I can safely say that even long after, initially getting this bay, well, not long after getting this bay, Variant Lucifer still is one of the worst SpeedStorm Beyblades out there. And it's not even that the fact that Variant's like the worst ring ever, or Vex is the worst ring ever, but it's just that it has such poor stamina on Mobius. I don't know. And even the Takara version had really bad stamina on Mobius. But anyway, for our next comparison, and our next stock combo comparison, we're going to bring in Spear Valkyrie, or Spear Valtriek. So that way you can see how those two look together. And again, very, very nice colors these have. And again, differences should be obvious. Alright, so for our next comparison, we're going to bring in Death Diabolos, or Demise Devilos, because of course, God forbid, we have to have death on our spinning top battle game. God forbid that we have death, because think of the children. Okay, I think you guys kind of get the point now that I hate the Hasbro naming schemes so much. I mean, I will admit some of them are kind of cool. Like Evo Lucius Endbringer does sound pretty cool. That's a spoiler that's sort of not even a spoiler as much as it is just a little hint at what the possible, what a future release, of what a future, not even release as much as it is a future review I'm going to do for SpeedStorm, Search SpeedStorm. But anyway, for our next comparison, we're going to bring in the recolor version of King Helios, or Colossal Helios H6. Which I do have the disc that came on the sets version 1, which is 10. So, there you go. And it does have the SpeedStorm medal there. So, like I was saying, some names like Evo Lucius Endbringer and stuff like that, those are cool names. I don't mind that, like Evo Lucius Endbringer and, and even some names like I don't know, Balkesh. Dusk Balkesh does sound pretty cool. But at the same time, like, come on, Hasbro, with these naming schemes. It's just a little ridiculous. Like Lucius? Lucius? We can't even say Lucifer here in the States? Like, come on, Hasbro. Come on, America. Stop being such babies. Anyway. Alright, that sounded really mean. Okay, let's just move on from that before somebody decides to try and dox me in the comments. So anyway, not even dox me as much as it is just complaining to me in the comments. Like, oh, that was very insensitive. But anyway, next up here is Super Hyperion H6. This is the recolor version with the set version disc, which is 7. So there you go. And then for our last two comparisons, of course, is our Japanese representatives. That being King Helios, right there. The Takara version of King Helios. Again, differences should be obvious between Super King and Surge. And something I probably should have mentioned at the beginning is that I don't know why, but due to the lack of chassis, they decided to lift up the rings in a weird way, just filling the bottoms out with like this thin sort of layer of a ring of plastic underneath, just to sort of fill in that void there. It's kind of interesting. And for our last comparison here, we have Super Hyperion. So you can see the differences between those two. And yes, y'all will probably notice from my Exceed for the car release is a bit dirty, but then again, I mean, with any rubber tip in the Burst series, it's almost impossible to keep clean. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this review. So this has been my review on Beyblade Burst Surge SpeedStorm, Minoboros M6, and Glide Dullahan D6 Dual Pack. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this review, please make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell so that way you guys get notified for all my uploads. Later, Read Squad, and have a good one.